Hi everybody, here we go, tonight's webinar after a rocky start. Thank you so much for joining in and having a look at this, and I hope you find the information really useful. I truly do believe publishing is one of the best professional and personal development processes there is. There's so much involved in the preparation of a book. The writing of a book is actually a huge learning curve for everybody, and the thrill of having the finished product is immense. And then the doors that open after that can be very, very exciting. My name is Bev Ryan. I offer publishing services to business owners and professionals who want to raise their profile through publishing nonfiction. I also have recently relaunched a digital magazine called Honestly Woman, which I used to publish years ago as a print magazine. And I also work part-time in career development with professionals who want to increase their professional profile. So I find publishing career development crossover in many ways. So just a brief look at how I got into publishing. Like you, if you're a self-publisher, you've probably come in with little or no prior publishing experience. Back in the late 90s, I began publishing a print magazine. And again, 2000 to 2008, I published the print version of Honestly Woman magazine. Now, the reason I want to put that slide there is just to show you that while I was publishing a magazine, it just raised my profile in a very huge way. It was so exciting. I entered several business awards at the time and came away the winner of some state awards, a local business award, a state government award, and a national marketing award. And truly, it was because I was publishing, and I see book owners whose businesses take off and who enter awards, and because they are an author as well as a business owner, they often walk away with the prize. So publishing can do an enormous amount for you. These are some of the books that I've published in the last couple of years. All of them are written by business owners and service providers who are writing books which will assist their clientele. And it's because they know their pain points, they know what their clients need, they're able to articulate information and solutions for their clients. So they put those together in some really beautiful books, and truly their businesses have been transformed in the process. Just a couple of examples of my clients. Here's Philippa Spork. Philippa published in 2015, and in 2016 won a couple of quite big awards again, with a media award in Australia and an international publishing award that's based in America with the book Rules of Social Engagement, which I produced for her. So that was a pretty exciting time for her and for me. Here's another client of mine, Elise. She has only recently launched her book, Millionaire Feng Shui. Elise is a Feng Shui expert and has had quite a burgeoning career several years ago, then had a gap in her career, or I suppose a gap in visibility because of several family things that she had to attend to. So she decided last year to launch her book to help her get back into visible space again, and it's doing really well. It's only been out a few weeks and she's selling heaps, and people who knew her before have reconnected with her, and her business is taking off again. So tonight I wanted to talk to you about the essential steps in self-publishing, and we're talking about publishing nonfiction, but if you're listening and you're publishing fiction, similar steps will be involved. So let's have a look at what you need to do. So it's really essential, if you're going to self-publish a book, that you take time to plan it. I think too many people just say, oh, great, I can write a book, and they'll sit down at a keyboard thinking that's where they start. But what they will find is that they will just freeze. They'll have paralysis because they haven't organised their thoughts. So it's really essential, number one there, your plans. You need to know why you want to publish a book. The lady I just mentioned, Elise, she had a very clear strategy to use her book to raise her visibility again, and to kind of give her a real kickstart back into the business that she had put on hold for a little while. You have to know that you're ready to give the time to your book. You have to know that you're ready to give the time to marketing your book once it's out. And you have to have a clear clear understanding of where that book fits with your business. So number 2 then, a project plan. So once you've kind of got the big picture plan, the big dream of publishing, you need to drill down there then into a project plan. So it's really a matter of setting out the steps involved. How long are you going to give to the planning stage? How long are you going to give to the writing stage? How long are you going to give to the book production stage? And I'll talk a bit more about each of those stages as we go through the webinar. So then once you've just mapped out, you might map out that, okay, I want this book to happen in 6 months, or I want it to happen in a year or 2 years, whatever time frame suits you. You then have to do number 3 there, plan the book. Now here I'm talking about non-fiction books, obviously. Your book plan is really critical, because it's not a matter of saying, well, look, I just want to write down everything I know about a topic. It's not. That's more the approach, I suppose, of writing an essay for an examination so that you can prove to the examiner that you know everything that you're required to know. A book is more about understanding who your audience is, what their needs are, and providing something that will grab their interest and provide the answers that they're looking for. I think all of us who've bought bought non-fiction books will have purchased them because there'll be something either in the title of the book, or on the back of the book, or in the chapters of the book, chapter content list in the front of the book, that will tell us that this book can give us some information that we need, or provide a solution that we need. So when you do your book plan, that's really an important thing for you to do, is just sit down and think, okay, who's reading my book? What are their problems? What solutions can I offer to them in a logical way? So now this whole planning stage here, which is stage number 1, that's on the screen there, that might take you a few weeks to do. I'd suggest to anybody who's going to put time into writing a book that they do some research first, that research as in survey their market readers or their target readers to see what their readers want first, to see what their potential readers want, so that they don't sit down and write a book for 6 months or a year and then find out that nobody's really interested in it. So planning stage, critical. Give yourself a couple of months for that one. Now, the production of your book, the actual writing of your book, can be quite a lengthy process, and this is where I think a lot of people come unstuck. You'd be quite surprised the number of people who say that they've got a manuscript half written in their computer, or that they started a book and didn't finish it. So now some people are natural born writers, and they actually love sitting tucked away in their office or in the local library or whatever, head down in the computer, doing some research, gathering data, gathering information, and writing it in their own words. That, for some people, that's just the perfect state. Now, a lot of people who are business owners who want to write a book thrive on running a business. So to pull back from that and to put their time and effort into writing a book is something that they may not necessarily be all that comfortable with, or they may not feel like it's giving them the greatest excitement that they could have. But the ones who've published their books are the ones who are willing to give it the time it needs. So they're disciplined, they make time, they get up and do the work in the mornings, or they stay up late and do the work at night. So, and I guess having said that, there are other ways around it. There's various ways that you can get somebody to help you write a book. You can always get somebody to help ghostwrite some chapters. Another way you can tackle a book is plan the structure of your book, and then just talk it through. Talk the book out. Record yourself talking, and get that transcribed and edited into good quality text, and then play with that till you get the book that you need. So that, for some people, the talking part is easier than the writing part, so you can always take that path. Another option might be to deliver a workshop or a seminar that has several sections to it, and record those sections and then get that transcribed. And if your sections of your webinar or your conference, whatever, match the sections in your book, then your content is, you've got a lot of content there on hand once it's been transcribed. So there's various ways to approach stage number 2, which is your writing of your book. The best advice when you're writing is don't try and edit it as you go. Just don't hold yourself back. Just do sort of a brain dump the first time. Just get information out of your head, or gather it from other places, put it together. Don't just though hand that to an editor. Go back through it and review it. So that's my point there. Number 4, write your book, then put it down for a week or 2, walk away from it, come back to it with a fresh set of eyes, go through it again, and you'll always find you want to play with it, change it, fix it up. So make sure you've done that as much as you can, to your own best effort, and then that can go through to an editor for the next stage. So the publishing part of a book is starts with the polishing there. So the number 5 is polish. Now that's where somebody else comes in and gives the book the expertise that you don't necessarily have yourself. So generally speaking, it's an editor who will turn your written manuscript into a professional manuscript. Now, even if you feel like you're a good writer, it's always, I strongly advise you to get an editor to go through the book. You'll be surprised what they pick up. If somebody says, look, I'm really good at English, I'll edit your book, say no. Just, it's an investment. The investment you make of time to produce this book has to be balanced with the investment in a good editor and good layout and book cover design. So those are the critical skills that you need to bring in at this point. Now, the book pages can be laid out by somebody who's different to the book cover creator. Some people are very good at creating book covers. Some graphic designers love doing book covers and are very, very good at it. And a book cover's, it's got, you'll see book covers sometimes that look amazing, and you'll see other book covers that look pretty basic. Now, plain can be stunning, so I'm not saying that your book cover has to be colourful and complicated, not at all, but it needs to have a really professional finish. So the fonts on your book cover need to be strong and smart. Any imagery that you use and colours that you use have to be well designed. So it's really critical that you invest in a good designer for your book cover, and your page layout is really essential to the reader. So when they open the book, it looks like it's a well designed book, and it looks professional. The worst thing you can do is scrimp and save money on editing and page layout and book covers, because you'll produce a book that will not reflect well on you at all. Other people will sort of see it and think, oh gosh, this is pretty poor attempt. I mean, no one ever may say that, but if you want a professional book to reflect a professional image that you're trying to build, then you've got to invest in that part. Okay, so number 6 is when your book goes to print or goes to ebook format. So that's a pretty exciting stage. So that the designers all happened, and then suddenly your words and your imagery go off to this printer who turns it into a real book. Now, I can tell you now that in stage 5, then the polish stage, when you've handed your manuscript over to somebody else and they're working on it, and it gets closer and closer to becoming this actual tangible real book, probably the more terrified you're going to become. So it's quite common for my clients to call me in that stage and say, I'm terrified, I feel like I'm standing at the top of a ladder and I'm scared of heights and I don't want to jump. So that is a very common feeling. And it's because what's happening there is that your ideas are becoming solidified into this beautiful thing that's going to be let loose on the world, and you have no control over it anymore. And people are going to read your words, read your thoughts. You're probably going to feel like they're going to be critical of the work you've done. But if you've had it edited well, you've had it designed well, then that won't be the case at all. Your book will be written for a particular audience, and that's the audience you care about. If you've written a book about golf and somebody criticizes or is looking at the book and they're not a golfer, well, that's not your target audience anyway, so it doesn't matter what they think. So that's why, going back to the planning stage is so essential, that you get that formula right. You know who your target audience is, you know what they need to know, then you provide the information that they need or want, and then make it look smart, make it look professional, and you can just relax because that's all you have to do. Simples. And then number 7 is when you launch your book. So that's kind of the next, feels like the end of the creation stage, which it is, but it's also the start of the next phase, which is your marketing phase. It's where you have to get out and about and let people know your book exists and enjoy the benefits of it. So tonight I'm just talking about from concept to launch. So basically that's the 7 steps involved. And again, I've divided those into 3 stages. So it's your, go back to, here we go, planning stage, producing stage, and publishing stage. So just to finish off about the benefits of publishing, I think to write a book is a big dream for many, many people. It's an exciting process. They say that 90% of the world wants to write a book at some stage. And when you think about, why is that the case? There's many factors involved. It's being seen as the author of a book. It's pretty exciting to pick a book up and see your name on the front. So for you, it's a huge achievement. And for the rest of the world, they see that as a huge achievement as well. People really appreciate that the work that's gone into writing a book. It positions you as a voice of authority and credibility, and it just opens doors and allows you to do some interesting things that you may not have thought of doing before. But one thing that stops people is, what stops people is themselves, actually, and that's true of many things which are a bit of a leap outside of our comfort zone. Our biggest protagonist in those situations is usually ourselves. So I'm just mentioning this book here, You Too by Price Pritchett. It's all about taking a quantum leap. Now, it's about multiplying your own efforts. U squared, let's just say U too, it's U squared. And what he means by that is find ways to multiply your efforts, and you'll also multiply your results. That's actually, that as a book is quite a simple little book. It's an interesting book to see. It's been very, very successful, and it's interesting. It's to the point. It's not a big book at all, but his messages are quite clear. One thing he does not particularly cover in this book, U Squared, is actually how to take quantum leaps. He talks about having the courage to take them, but he doesn't actually go into details about strategies that will enable you to take a quantum leap. But I can tell you 100% certainly that publishing a book will allow you to take a quantum leap. So I found, this is a quote from the book, which I think is really, really true. You simply move on an opportunity you've been ignoring and in order to take a quantum leap. You abandon your excuses, you reframe the problem. You take a completely different chance, revealing how the only thing of significance that has been standing in the way is you. I think that last point, which I've bolded there, is really critical. And I think we all know that the only thing of significance that stands in our way is ourselves at times. So many people get to the point of, they just desire to write a book so much, but they get right to the edge of the starting point, and A, they don't have the information they need, or B, they're just not sure what to do next, or C, it just becomes, or what they see as a huge task, and they don't have the support they need. So pushing through that is a really important thing to do. So what I do in my work as a publisher and publishing coach, I suppose, is support people at the start of the publishing process. And I also provide publishing services which help produce books. So as a book coach, I work with authors who come to me and they say, look, I really want to write a book and I just need some help to get started. Then I also work with people who come to me and, as they're writing their book, and say, look, I'm nearly finished my manuscript. I want some help with editing, graphic design, or whatever. Now, one thing that I see happen with people who come to me for publishing services is that they've probably struggled or worked through the whole process of writing their book on their own. And oftentimes when the editor gets the book, they will just say, this person should have got help a long time ago. So the editor's got to either do a lot of work on it, or they just have to do the best they can with some material that could have been done a lot better. So as a book coach, I just think it's really critical that people get support at the start of the process. So over the last several years, since 2012, I've been running group webinar programs every now and then for groups of people who want to start writing the book, and I take them through various processes that will enable them to get started. So look, at this point in this webinar, if you're not interested in knowing more about the publishing program that I'm about to start, I'd suggest you just leave the recording, stop the recording. But if you'd like to know more about it, I'll just continue and explain that in a little bit more detail. So the Profit from Publishing program that I've put together this year is longer than the ones I've run previously, and I've added more value and more support to it. So it commences on Friday the 24th of March at 11 a.m. Many of the people who I support in these programs work from home or work in a business, so they're quite able to set aside an hour to a couple of hours on a Friday, and I run them fortnightly, so it's just a couple of hours a fortnight that you need to make yourself available. So these are live webinars where I deliver the content much like I'm doing now, and also open up for conversation with the people on the webinar. So it's a combination of me delivering information and then us having discussions about the information, and also about how everyone's progressing with their books or with the work that they're doing in preparation to write their books. So those webinar sessions run for 60 minutes, which is the information side of it. And then I usually stay on the line for further chat or coaching or question time for another 30 minutes. So there's 90 minutes available once a fortnight for that. Now, what I'm also doing this year is pretty much repeating that session. So if you are not available during the day on a Friday, I'll be repeating that same session the next Monday evening. So you could opt in and come to a Friday session every second week, or you might opt in and come to a Monday session every second week. But the beauty of the fact that I'm repeating those sessions is, say, for example, you had to miss a Friday, you could jump into the following Monday, or if you had to miss a Monday, you could jump into if you have to miss the Monday, you could jump into the Friday before. I had to think about that. It's getting late. So there's a great benefit to having that option, but also the other thing that you could do is come into both. Now, you know, from experience, I'm sure that you hear something once and you kind of get most of it or half of it. If you hear it twice, you'll get much more out of it the second time. So you've sort of got a double whammy there. If you can do the Friday and the Monday, you'll always get more the second time around. It'll solidify what you've heard the first time, and it'll be much more beneficial for you. So that's the formalised webinar part of the program. So what I'm covering in the course, and we start right from scratch. And it's actually starts a little bit before that first tick there. Is why I get I talk to you about why you want to write the book, and then you develop a clear vision for the book and for the life you want to have around the book. So what's this author life going to be for you that you're dreaming of and hoping for? Then we look at your audience. So define your audience and really drill down on what they want, and you have to be really clear on what they want. It's so critical that you don't write a book because you think people will want to read it. You have to write your book because you know that's what they want to read, because you've taken the time to find that out. And third one there, get clear on your own strengths in this process. So I spent a bit of time talking about how you work best, and so if you're a creative person, you'll probably love the creative side of the whole process, maybe particularly the visual side as the book is designed. If you're a person who likes to be with people all the time, we'll talk about how that might mean that you struggle writing on your own. So how can you create a writing space where you're in amongst people so you're feeling like you're plugged into the world. So we'll go through that. So understanding the publishing process, we'll drill down on exactly what's involved and who you need and where you find them. We'll create a deadline for your own book. Everyone will have their own deadline, but you'll map out a deadline and the steps you have to take along the way. So you kind of map out a project plan, basically. So you'll carefully plan your actual book content and structure. So then you'll start breaking down your book, or actually it's the other way around, really. It's building up your book. You'll start with some ideas of what's got to go in the book, and then you'll kind of fill out that framework. You'll learn to write confidently, free of self-criticism. So we'll spend some time talking about different writing techniques and how you can stop that self-critical voice that might try and stop you from doing this whole pretty amazing process. You'll understand the anatomy of a book, so what actually goes into a book, what is the book made up of. There's things that go in the front of the book, things that go in the back of the book, and things that go obviously in the middle of the book. We'll talk about book covers, and I'll get you to start drafting your own book cover, and involves more than just how it looks. That also involves, well, what am I going to call this book? What's a good subtitle? What sort of things? How a book cover might look. So it's really getting that whole concept started for you. And we'll also you'll also learn more about your author platform, which is really, I suppose it's your marketing, the base of your marketing. So it's going to be your online presence, your website, your profiles online. What else do you need to put into place so that when the book's is launched, your marketing tools online are all in place. So we'll cover that. Now, as well as the webinars and the work you'll be doing and the writing you'll be doing of your book, I'm adding in ongoing personal coaching once the webinars are finished. Now, the webinars, there's 8 webinars and they're fortnightly. So that actually works out to 15 weeks. So that's quite a long time. And you can get a lot done in that time. Very rarely would people finish their book in that time, even though you might see courses and programs promoted where they say write your book in a weekend. It's very difficult to write a book in a weekend. So you may get your book finished in 15 weeks, depending on how much time you have. Chances are, though, you'll need some ongoing support and coaching to keep you moving. And I mean, you've probably done it. I've done it. Enroll in a course, whatever, get so excited, and then the course finishes, and then the work we're supposed to do after the course kind of slowly dies down as well. So I've added into this program 4 sessions with me, each of them half an hour. So that's on personal coaching, which can be online or via Skype, or if you're in Brisbane, we can meet face to face, that's fine. So that's really designed to keep you going. And I've put a sort of deadline on that because I want you to access that coaching and keep moving. So it's 4 sessions with me within 3 months of the completion of the webinar component. So each of those meetings with me will hopefully keep you moving, getting more work done. So that's part included in the program. So what do you get from this whole process? You'll get clarity and confidence about your message to the world. Now that's really, really important. You'll get clarity before you start your book. What will actually happen is you'll get clarity way beyond your book. You'll get clarity about your business and what it is you want the world to see you as, and what you might like to do because of your book. So you'll get enormous clarity about the big picture stuff as well. And you'll get confidence that, yes, my message really does matter. Look, we've all read books that have impacted us deeply. And sometimes it's the simplest little book and it's just made a huge change in our lives. So it's really important that you realise that, if you plan out your book and you know your market and you know your readers and you know their problems and you provide information they want, then your book will be a really important book for them. So that's the confidence you need to have, and that's what you'll develop when you do this work properly and you think it through and you plan it well and you're comfortable. Yes, this piece of work I'm going to deliver to the world has its place and it's important. So number 2 there, or the second line there, you'll decide which book to write first and for whom. So that's right at the start. And as I said, some people think they have to write everything that they know about a certain topic, but when they stop and break things down, they might actually have 2 or 3 books, which would be better. So 2 or 3 shorter books about really clear messages and clear target audiences are much better than a big book, which is kind of a jumble of everything that actually probably very few people would read. So that all happens at the start of the book as well, start of the webinar program. Third one there, you'll work out how to structure your book so it benefits your reader. So that's where we break down the internals of your book and figure that out. So that's a really, really critical thing to do before you start to write. Number 4 there, you will learn all the steps involved in self-publishing, how long it takes and who can help you. So I'll give you all the information you need to have about that, particularly those time frames. How long does it take to for an editor to do the work? How long should you give them? How long is it going to take graphic design work to be done? How long does it take to print a book? So that's all included in that. So you'll actually begin writing your book, and you may well even finish it during the program, depending on the time you have available. Now, this is really huge. As I said, so many people think they have this dream of writing a book, but they just don't get it started, or worse still, they don't get it finished. So the whole point of this webinar program is designed to get people started, to get clarity, structure, get you started so that the finishing part of your book, you can plug along with that at home, get that done. But as a book coach, I'm also available to you on an ongoing basis if that's what you felt you needed. So if you got to the end of this whole webinar program, you've accessed to private coaching with me, and then further on down the track you still want some help, then that's fine. You can come back and we can work together again. So you'll also work on your book cover concept, your book title and your back cover blurb. So you've pretty much got a book in progress that you can be guaranteed that if you've done all of this properly, you've done your homework, basically listened to the advice, you're going to have a really great book on its way. So the program again commences Friday the 24th of March, and with a repeat sessions on the Mondays, the following Monday from that. So the full information is on this website, profitfrompublishing.com.au. If you want to give me a call, I'm really happy to have a chat on the phone about anything to do with this. I'm delighted. My number is 0403 831 342, and my website again, bevryanpublishing.com. So look, thanks very much for attending tonight and or listening to this when you can. I really hope it's useful. If you've got any questions, as I said, please follow up.